One of the most exciting things ever about being a brand new bass player is that at some point with your instrument, you look at it and you go, that thing is so cool, but I can make it cooler with an upgrade, right? You thought about this. I know you have. And it is so cool. And we're gonna talk about ways to upgrade your bass guitar right now. Hi everybody, and welcome to Bass Chops for Beginners. This is episode 14, okay? And we're going to talk about something really different this time around. I'm going to give you some information on upgrading your bass guitar. And one of the first things that people do when they get to this point where they're like, you know, I really love my first bass guitar. I don't really want to get rid of it because I really dig that body. I really dig that neck, okay? And it's just that there's certain things about it that I really need to have better, okay? Not necessarily go out and buy a new guitar, although you can do that, and we will cover that in another video. But this time around, we're going to talk about upgrades, and I'm going to tell you one of many ways that you can upgrade, beginning with your pickups. As with all of my videos, I'm going to talk about a few things that are going to have links in the description section here. That way, when you have a little bit more time, you can go and visit them and get more detailed info on the products that you are interested in, okay? So there's two kinds of pickups out there. You have passive and active, and there are pluses and minuses to both. I'm going to talk about all of them. I am not going to give this description from a best to worst, cheapest to expensive. No, it's not like that at all. I believe everything is good. Everything has its plus and minuses, and we're just going to openly talk about them here because all of it's good. Everything about this is good, okay? The only bad thing about this, if I can go into that direction just briefly, is the cost. Obviously, there are some things that are just like really expensive, and since we are all on a budget, right, you have to make that decision based on what's best for you from a monetary standpoint, okay? I don't want to say something and then you feel compelled or feel the pressure or think that I'm telling you, go out and spend top dollar on stuff. No. I want you to do things smart, okay? That's the whole purpose here. I wanted to start off by telling you that through the years, I've collected 9 basses, and all of them started off having, you know, positives that I really liked, which attracted me to purchasing them. And then came that period where I'm like, I need more performance out of this, but I think that it could use an upgrade, a very inexpensive upgrade, but an upgrade nonetheless. The price range for aftermarket replacement pickups for your guitar can range anywhere from $30 on up to, yeah, I didn't think that this was possible, but there are some out there that are like $300-$400 for pickups. And we're going to talk about them, and I'm going to show you some examples in the display here next to me. I just wanted to show you as an example, a physical example. This is my EXP 445. I absolutely love this guitar because it's very lightweight. It's got a beautiful neck radius that it's not, you know, it's a 5-string, but it doesn't really, to me, feel like a really wide neck that you see in a lot of 5-string basses. And I loved it so much that I just couldn't part with it when I really had a problem with the way the factory pickup sounded. Not a knock on Ibanez. The guitar sounded beautiful to me when I got it, but I knew that it could improve. And so what I did is I went with the passive brand from EMG here, and this is the JJ variety here. And you've heard this. There's a video that I made. It's a tribute to David Bowie. The song is China Girl, and it is in my YouTube channel here. If you want to check out what this guitar sounds like, I basically ran it directly into the computer. No effects other than I believe I added just a little bit of chorus into it. But if you want to hear what this guitar sounds like, passive pickups, that is the video to check out. This guy here is my Ibanez EXP 404, okay? It's basically identical to the 5-string over there, only this is a 4-string okay? But the thing that makes it different from that other guitar is that it has a precision jazz pickup arrangement here. And you're gonna see a lot of guitars that have precision pickups, jazz pickups. Like in the other one, it has 2 jazz pickups, right? Some guitars only have just the precision arrangement. Some guitars, like that sub bass by Sterling that you've seen in other videos, they have what they call a soap bar. It's just slightly bigger, right? And it's a dual coil, very large pickup to pick up, basically, not to sound redundant, but to get the most tonal flexibility and capabilities of the instrument from one gigantic fat pickup. Those soap bars are really, really cool. And so this is the point where I tell you, this is an area where just a few manufacturers are out there that are making aftermarket pickups for bass guitars and guitars in general that you can go check out. They all offer their unique perspective and technology on how to achieve sound, okay? And so those brands, I'll just name them off here on my notes. Aguilar, they're, one of a really popular brand out there. One that I admit this, I am, the whole thing about bass playing and being a musician is that the learning is constantly, it's an upward trajectory. You never reach a point where you know everything. Nothing stays put for any length of time because new things come out, and then you discover, oh, there's somebody out there that makes something that is considered the creme de la creme, and that brand of pickup is Nordstrand. Okay, it's a little bit above my price, what I'm comfortable paying for aftermarket pickups. But if you do any kind of online research, they basically rank in as the top pickup out there. The price for that prestige matches it. And so Nordstrand is one of those. Bartolini is another one of those that's been around for a really long time. They've been making pickups for a long time, and they make really nice pickups for systems that you would want to put them onto, whether it's PJ, JJ, soap bar, you name it, any kind of configuration for a pickup for any kind of bass guitar. Bartolini makes it, and so goes for Seymour Duncan. Seymour Duncan is something that I grew up with when I was a teenager, and the thing to get was Seymour Duncan pickups. And so go to their website, and that's also linked down below along with these others, and you can check out what they have on there. They have a pretty impressive setup as well. DiMarzio is another one of those manufacturers that has been around for quite some time, and they make an impressive selection of pickups for you. Also, their website is really good about showing you all the capabilities, all of the specs. If you're going to pay attention to what all of them will provide you as far as tonal capabilities, their website is absolutely fantastic about that. And so the last one I save for last because it's the one that I use exclusively, simply because they're the ones that were easily obtainable for me when I was doing all of this. They also cater to that beginner that if you are not really proficient at soldering and electronics and wiring, things like that, they make their system to be completely solderless. With you just plug these things in. You can even buy a complete wiring harness for them, and all you do is drop these things in and plug it in, and you're in business. And that's EMG. Another guitar that I have of my basses that I put passive EMGs is my SG short scale here. These are humbuckers, and they are passive, made by EMG, and that's what they look like there. Cool. The other category that I wanted to talk to you about in this video are the active pickups, and I've got a couple of them here that are active that I really enjoy. And the first one is I shouldn't say the love of my life, but I do love this guitar because of the sound it makes, obviously, right? We've been talking about this in all of these videos. The tone, the sound of guitar. And for the Spectre NS2 that I have here, it's these active EMGs. It's their brand, they wound it, but it's basically an EMG active pickup arrangement PJ, okay? And this one I'm going to do a video on changing strings and setting up and intonation and bridge stuff. So that's the reason why it doesn't have strings on it right now. But this is my Spectre with active. Okay. So there you have it. There's an example. Isn't she pretty? Gorgeous. And this, friends, is an example of getting a really inexpensive beginner guitar and then seeing it for all the potential, which is the Squier Jazz. And I went in and I said, great price, brand new instrument. I think I'm going to hot rod it. And boy, did I. And the results are just out of this world. Once again, I put in 2 Jazz active pickups by EMG, and I upgraded the bridge, but we'll talk about that in another video. But that's my active Jazz with EMGs on it. And you can actually hear this song, I believe, in the beginning of this video. Also, in all of my videos, the way it ends, the song that you hear at the very end of each video is this guitar. And finally, I saved probably the most controversial one for it last, only because there's such a community, a passionate community out there of purists for the brand of Rickenbacker, and they're like, you never do any kind of upgrades or modifications to that instrument because it devalues it, and if you ever go to resell it, you won't get anything for it. My philosophy is several reasons. It's my guitar, right? I didn't like the way it sounded, so I upgraded it. And now it sounds exactly the way I want it to, okay? And I did something really, really interesting in that I put active pickups on an ordinary guitar. When it comes from the factory, it comes with passive pickups. So this is an active Jazz, which it doesn't come with, and an active humbucker that was designed by EMG for the Steinberger line. So that's what my Rickenbacker 4001 looks like with active EMGs on it. And so this guitar you can hear in one of my other videos. In fact, there's an entire playlist on this channel of Rickenbacker, and most notably is my cover of Limelight. I did Limelight with this guitar, and if you want to hear what it sounds like, check that video out. It's the way I want it. Oh, I also upgraded the bridge, which we'll talk about in another video. Cool? So this is the part of the video where I tell you some of the pluses and minuses. Okay, obviously passive pickups are easier, they're simpler in their design, right? You stick them in and you wire them up and off you go. No problems. Some of them have low output, some of them have pretty high output. The reason why I chose EMGs is because they do have a respectable amount of output from a passive pickup, okay? And the price difference between passive and active nowadays is almost negligible. I'm really shocked. Who knows, maybe I'll upgrade these to active electronics. Okay, so there's the plus of a passive pickup. It's simple, respectable output, and it's somewhat narrower in its capability of tone. Okay, so you have a narrower area to work with as far as the tonality of the instrument. That is why active pickups are now the screaming hot rage of most guitars, including some entry-level basses like the Sterling Sub. The reason why that guitar, not these, but you've seen it in another video. In fact, I'll show some B-roll on the one that I have with the rosewood fingerboard. That right there comes already hot rodded for you thanks to Sterling. That pickup is active, and that's the reason why it sounds the way it does. In fact, I did a Toto cover of Rosanna with it, and I did a few other little things with that guitar while I had it, and it's just, I did Blue Oyster Cult's Burning for You, and loved it. Okay, so active pickups give you a greater tonal capability. There is a 9-volt battery involved and preamp circuitry inside each one to be able to boost the signal, boost the output, obviously, and it gives you more tonal control, more of a frequency response, if you will, on them. The caveat, the only really bad thing is that there is a battery involved. In some guitars, it's really difficult to put that battery into the compartment with all the circuitry. And some guitars like that Rickenbacker you saw, I had to go in there with a Dremel tool and dig out an extra cavity for it to rest in there. And so not everybody's comfortable or equipped to do something that risky on their guitars. And then there's that other risk that if you don't monitor the condition of that battery, it will die on you. Eventually it will. That's why in another video you've seen me recommend 9-volt battery, and the ones that I use are all lithium 9 volts. Okay, they have an incredible shelf life, and their performance curve is like this. Through the course of time, it's just a gradual fall, unlike an alkaline battery where it has more of a performance curve like that over time. Okay, rechargeable batteries are like this, and they hit the floor and you're dead in the water and the guitar will not play. It's happened through my negligence. Again, we're taking all of my experiences and my mistakes and I'm sharing them with you. That way you don't commit these mistakes. In the middle of a performance, and that Spectre, the battery in it died. It went through sound check, no problem. I neglected to do a voltage test that day, and sure enough, into my third song, the guitar just stopped working. I thought the sound guy turned me off. No, it was my fault. The battery died in the bass, and so the bass died. That's one of the pitfalls of having active circuitry, active pickups. You gotta keep track of that battery. And in some guitars, they have 2 9 volts in there for an 18-volt arrangement. And so, you know, that's the trade-off. Passive pickups, you just plug it in and you go all day long. You can have a 24-hour non-stop concert if you have that kind of endurance, okay? Active guitars have more tonal flexibility. They are much louder. They have, you know, higher output, but there's that 9-volt battery involved, and you have to stay on top of that. And you cannot leave your guitar cord plugged into those. The cord being plugged in is the actual switch that turns that circuitry on, and when that guitar is in, there is constant drain on that battery. So you don't want to leave those things plugged in overnight or whatever. They all need to be unplugged. Passive guitars, you can leave them plugged in till the cows come home, and it will play whenever you pick it up, okay? One last thing that I wanted to bring to your attention, if you're inclined to do this, if you don't like what a lot of these manufacturers are offering, I've noticed that guitar manufacturers, like the one that's located here in the city that I live in, they will actually custom wind a set of pickups for you if you want to. You just contact them directly, go to their website and find out how to contact them via email, or you can phone them and ask them if they can produce a custom wind for you. And I noticed that a lot of the manufacturers actually have a custom shop-like department where you can have something specially made for you, okay? And that's exciting if you're inclined to do that, okay? So isn't that cool? I just think it's so cool when you do something like this and immediately it's a dramatic improvement. That's what we want. We want upward progression of improvement, upward progression of understanding, and just increased knowledge all the way around. So there you have it. What I'm curious is, have you done any kind of modifications to your brand new guitar? Let me know. Go ahead and leave those in the comments. Also, if you have any questions, leave those questions down below. I'm really interested in what you have to say. Share your comments, criticisms, whatever. That's what we're here for. That is the purpose of this channel, okay? And if you like what's going on here, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. And while you're at it, click that notification bell. That way, when I upload a brand new video, you get that alert in your email that something's new, and you can come back here and check out the latest information on the topic, okay? I love all my Instagram followers, and so I also love following you guys when you come on board on Instagram, and so there's my address if you're interested, okay? It's really cool. I just love being able to reach out to people that aren't even musicians. It's just a really interesting way of making the world smaller and appreciating other people's art forms. And I really dig that so much. Also, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. I really appreciate it. Yes, I do. I really do. So there you have it. Okay, so on another video, maybe the next video, we're going to talk about more upgrades. I think this is really exciting because this is something that is really cool. It's productive. It's, again, something to look forward to. And if it's done right, it has tremendous long-lasting rewards. You've seen these guitars. A lot of these, in fact, all of them were all modified years ago, and they are still going strong, okay? And that's how good these things can be if it's done correctly. And so, until next time, tune it or die.